Something shifts when the long middle of life begins to quiet down. The urgency that once organized your days starts to loosen. And into that space, if you pay attention, come the questions that were always there, waiting beneath the noise. Not anxious questions, honest ones, about meaning, about what was real, about whether the peace you always assumed was waiting somewhere ahead might actually be available right now, in this body, in this life, exactly as it is. The Buddha spent his entire teaching life answering those questions. Today, at Mindfulness, we sit with 8 of his most quietly powerful teachings on aging, drawn from authentic Buddhist sources. Each one a different doorway into the kind of understanding that doesn't just comfort the mind, but genuinely changes how you inhabit your days. 1. The gift hidden inside impermanence. Most people hear the word impermanence and feel a quiet dread. Everything ends, everything changes, nothing lasts. And yes, on the surface, that sounds like loss. But sit with it a little longer, the way the Buddha asked his students to, and something unexpected begins to emerge. In the Majjhima Nikaya, one of the oldest collections of Buddhist teachings, the Buddha describes how deeply understanding impermanence, what he called anicca, can become not a source of sorrow, but a source of profound liberation. When we truly see that all things are transient, we stop demanding that life be other than it is. And in that release, something opens. Growing older puts you face to face with impermanence in a way that younger people can only read about. Your body reminds you daily. The faces in old photographs remind you. The quiet house reminds you. But here is what the Buddha understood that most of us miss. This reminder is not a punishment. It is a clarifying gift. When you really know that time is not endless, small irritations lose their grip. Old grudges begin to feel too heavy to carry. The need to impress, to compete, to prove yourself quietly dissolves. What remains is what matters. Presence, connection, the simple warmth of being alive in this moment. The Dhammapada, one of the most beloved texts in the Buddhist canon, opens with the teaching that our life is shaped by our mind. When impermanence is understood through a clear mind, aging becomes not an ending, but a refinement, a slow burning away of everything that was never truly you. You are not losing yourself as you grow older. You are finding yourself beneath everything you no longer need to be. 2. Releasing the identity you've outgrown. For most of your life, you were defined by what you did. The job, the role, the title, the position you held in your family and community. Parent, provider, professional, caregiver. These identities served a purpose. They gave shape to your days and meaning to your effort. But now, in this quieter season, many of them have loosened or fallen away entirely. And for many people, that feels like a kind of loss they were never prepared for. The Buddha addressed this directly through the teaching of anatta, often translated as non-self. It is one of the 3 marks of existence in Buddhist philosophy, and it points to something deeply important. The self we construct, the collection of roles, memories, opinions, and habits we call me, is not fixed. It never was. It is, as the Buddha taught, a process, not a possession. In the Milinda Panha, an ancient Buddhist dialogue, this is illustrated through the image of a flame passed from one candle to another. Is it the same flame? Is it a different one? The answer is neither. It is a continuation, always changing, never the same twice, and yet never truly broken. When the roles of your younger years dissolve, you are not left with nothing. You are left with the deeper current that was always flowing beneath them. Awareness, presence, the quiet witness that has watched your entire life unfold. This is not the end of your identity. It is its most honest beginning. The invitation now is not to grasp for new titles or mourn the old ones, but to rest in what you have always been beneath them, and in that resting, discover that who you are was never truly at risk. 3. The power of right intention at any age. There is a teaching in the Buddha's Noble Eightfold Path that doesn't get spoken about enough when it comes to aging, and that is right intention. In Pali, Samasankappa. It refers to the quality of mind we bring to each day, the orientation of the heart toward goodwill, toward non-harm, toward letting go. Most people assume that intention matters only when you have many years ahead of you, that it belongs to the ambitious, the young, the ones still building something. But the Buddha taught the opposite. In fact, the Theragatha and Therigatha, ancient collections of verses attributed to elder monks and nuns, are filled with voices of people who found their deepest clarity and purpose precisely in the later stages of life. Right intention at this stage of life doesn't mean setting grand goals. It means waking each morning and quietly asking, how do I want to meet this day? With resentment or with openness? With fear or with curiosity? With judgment or with compassion? These are not small questions. They shape everything. A mind oriented toward goodwill, even in the face of difficulty, radiates something real. You feel it in people who have aged with grace. There is a warmth in them, a settledness, a quality of presence that draws others close. That quality is not accidental. It is cultivated, one intention at a time. And here is the quiet miracle. You don't have to be a monk or a scholar to practice this. You simply have to begin again each morning, gently, honestly, with kindness toward yourself and others. Right intention is available to you right now, in the next conversation, the next meal, the next breath. It is never too late to choose how you will meet your life. 4. Contentment as a spiritual practice. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha says something that has stayed with practitioners for over 2,000 years. He describes the one who has nothing to prove and nothing to gain as someone who moves through the world like the wind, free, unburdened, at peace. That quality, contentment, is known in Pali as santutti, and in Buddhist teaching it is not passive resignation. It is not giving up or shrinking. It is one of the highest spiritual attainments, a deep and active satisfaction with what is. Growing older in modern culture is difficult partly because everything around us insists that more is better, that stillness is laziness, that a quieter life is a lesser one. But the Buddha saw things very differently. He saw the grasping mind, always wanting the next thing, always dissatisfied with the present, as the very root of suffering. Contentment doesn't mean you stop caring or stop growing. It means you stop measuring your life against an imaginary standard it was never meant to meet. It means sitting in your garden and finding that the light on the leaves is enough. It means a conversation with an old friend nourishing you more deeply than any achievement ever could. The Buddhist teacher Ajahn Chah, whose teachings are widely respected and documented, often spoke about the happiness that arises not from getting what we want, but from wanting what we already have. This is not a small thing. This is the heart of contentment. As you grow older, you are not becoming less. You are becoming more selective, more present, more honest about what truly fills you. That is not loss. That is wisdom arriving exactly on time. 5. The Buddha's teaching on loneliness and true connection. There is a particular kind of loneliness that can settle into the later years of life. It isn't always the loneliness of being physically alone, though that is real too. It is something quieter and harder to name. It is the feeling of being unseen, of having a whole interior life, decades of experience, love, loss, wisdom, and finding fewer and fewer people who slow down long enough to truly meet you there. If you have felt this, the Buddha's teachings speak directly to your heart. In the Metta Sutta, one of the most cherished texts in the Pali Canon, the Buddha teaches on loving kindness, metta, as a practice that begins within and radiates outward. He describes it not as a feeling we wait to receive, but as a quality we actively cultivate in ourselves, toward ourselves first, then toward others, near and far. This matters deeply when it comes to loneliness, because so much of what we call loneliness is actually a disconnection from ourselves. When we are not at peace with our own company, when we cannot sit quietly with who we are, external connection brings only temporary relief. But when we cultivate metta inwardly, something shifts. We become, in a quiet way, our own companion. This is not about isolation or self-sufficiency as an ideal. The Buddha valued the Sangha, the community of practitioners, deeply. He called it one of the 3 jewels of Buddhist life, alongside the Buddha and the Dharma. Community matters, being witnessed matters, reaching out matters. But the foundation of genuine connection is always the relationship we have with ourselves. When that is tended with kindness, with patience, with the same warmth we might offer a dear old friend, loneliness loses some of its sharpest edges. So if the silence feels heavy today, begin here. Place a hand on your heart, breathe, and offer yourself quietly the words the Metta Sutta offers to all beings. May I be well, may I be peaceful, may I be free from suffering, not as a performance, as a truth you are learning to believe. 6. Wise attention and the art of letting regret go. Regret is one of the most common companions of aging, and it is not weakness that brings it. It is the natural consequence of a life fully lived, choices made under pressure, love that didn't land the way you intended, paths not taken, words left unsaid or said too sharply. Regret, when left unexamined, becomes a weight. But the Buddha offered a teaching that transforms it. In the Pali texts, the Buddha speaks of yoniso manasikara, often translated as wise attention or thorough attention. It is the practice of turning the mind toward experience in a way that leads to understanding rather than suffering. Not avoidance, not rumination, but clear, compassionate seeing. Applied to regret, wise attention asks us to look honestly at the past without using it as a weapon against ourselves, to acknowledge what happened, to understand the conditions that led to it, and then, crucially, to recognize that the person who made those choices was doing so with the understanding they had at the time. The Buddha did not teach self-punishment as a path to growth. He taught clear seeing, followed by letting go. In the Anguttara Nikaya, he draws a distinction between the noble person who sees their mistakes, learns from them, and moves forward, and the one who either denies wrongdoing or collapses under guilt indefinitely. You are allowed to have made mistakes. You are allowed to have been imperfect. Every human being who has ever lived shares that ground with you. Wise attention looks at regret and says, "I see you. I understand where you came from, and I choose now not to carry you further than this moment." That is not denial. That is the beginning of genuine peace. 7. The 5 Remembrances, a teaching for honest living. There is a teaching in the Anguttara Nikaya that many Western audiences have never encountered, and yet it may be one of the most quietly powerful things the Buddha ever offered. He called them the 5 subjects for frequent reflection, sometimes referred to in modern Buddhist practice as the 5 remembrances. He did not offer these as reasons for despair. He offered them as medicine for those willing to look honestly at life. And in the later years, when the mind is ripe for this kind of honesty, they become something extraordinary. The first remembrance is this: I am of the nature to grow old. I cannot escape aging. Not a warning, a fact held with open eyes. Most of our suffering around aging comes not from aging itself, but from the resistance to it, the disbelief that it is happening to us, as though we somehow deserved an exemption. When we accept this truth without flinching, the resistance softens. The energy spent fighting what is becomes available for living what is. The second is this: I am of the nature to have ill health. I cannot escape illness. The body is not a machine that should run indefinitely without difficulty. It is an organic, living, changing thing. And when illness comes, as it does for all of us, it is not a betrayal. It is part of the nature of having a body at all. Meeting illness with this understanding doesn't erase the pain, but it removes the layer of outrage and confusion that so often amplifies it. The third remembrance: I am of the nature to die. I cannot escape death. This one asks the most of us. And yet, in Buddhist tradition, the contemplation of death is not morbid. It is clarifying. The monastics who practiced this most deeply were not gloomy people. They were among the most alive, most present, most genuinely joyful people in any room. Because when you have made peace with the end, the middle becomes luminous. The fourth is this: all that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. I cannot escape being separated from them. This is perhaps the tenderest of the 5. The people we love will change. Some will leave before us. Some will grow distant. And rather than arming ourselves against this truth, the Buddha invites us to let it deepen our love while we have the chance. Knowing something is impermanent does not make it less precious. It makes every moment with it more awake. The 5th remembrance is this: I am the owner of my actions. My actions are my continuation. Whatever I do, for good or for ill, that I will inherit. This final reflection turns the gaze from what is happening to us toward what we are choosing. In a world where so much is outside our control, the quality of our actions remains our own. The kindness we extend, the patience we practice, the presence we offer. These are our legacy, not in a grand sense, but in the quiet daily sense that actually matters. Taken together, the 5 remembrances are not a list of sorrows. They are an invitation to wake up fully to the life you are living right now, today, in this body, with these people, in this moment. Because this moment, however ordinary it seems, is the only place where peace is ever actually found. 8. Growing older as a spiritual ripening. There is an image that appears gently throughout Buddhist teachings across cultures and centuries, that of the elder who has been refined by life, not hardened by it, not broken by it, refined. The way fire purifies gold, not by destroying it, but by burning away everything that was never gold to begin with. In Buddhist tradition, the word for this kind of maturity is not simply old age. In many contexts, particularly in the Theravada tradition, eldership carries genuine spiritual weight. The elders were not simply the oldest people in the monastery. They were the ones who had allowed life's difficulties to deepen them, who had sat with suffering long enough to understand it, who had practiced long enough to embody, at least partially, what they had once only understood intellectually. You do not need to be a monastic to receive this understanding. The same ripening is available to you, in your kitchen, in your garden, in the quiet hours of your morning. Growing older, when met with awareness, becomes a process of falling away. The need to perform, to compete, to be seen in certain ways, these tend to loosen naturally with age. What remains is something more essential: authentic care for others, a lower tolerance for pretense, a deeper appreciation for the simple textures of daily life, the warmth of tea, the sound of rain, the face of someone you have loved for decades. These are not small things. In Buddhist understanding, they are signs of a mind that is waking up. The Therigatha, the verses of the elder nuns, one of the oldest collections of literature attributed to women in any tradition, is full of voices expressing exactly this. Women who had lived full and often difficult lives, who had known loss and confusion and searching, who arrived in their later years not with bitterness, but with a clarity so clean it still resonates across 25 centuries. One verse, attributed to the elder nun Ambapali, describes her aging body with unflinching honesty, and then closes not with despair, but with liberation. She sees the body clearly. She does not cling to what it was, and in that release she finds she is freer than she has ever been. This is the invitation aging extends to all of us. Not to pretend the difficulties aren't real, not to perform contentment we don't yet feel, but to allow life, with all its weight and all its grace, to do what it has always been quietly doing, bringing us closer to what is true, bringing us home to ourselves. You are not at the end of something. You are in the deepest, most honest, most potentially luminous chapter of your life. The Buddha's teachings were not designed for the young and vigorous alone. They were designed for the human heart at every stage, and perhaps most of all, for moments exactly like this one, when you are still enough to hear them. Let aging be your teacher. Let the passing of time be your practice. Let every morning be a quiet reminder that you are still here, still breathing, still capable of tenderness, still becoming. That is not a small life. That is a beautiful one. If something in this reflection touched you today, let it stay. You don't need to understand it all at once. Wisdom like this settles slowly, the way good rain soaks into deep ground. The Buddha's teachings were never meant to be rushed. They were meant to be lived, quietly, honestly, one breath at a time. If this spoke to your heart, share it with someone who might need it tonight. And if you'd like to continue walking this path together, subscribe, and stay close. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. You are doing better than you know.